Close your eyes and imagine this. You're standing in a forest, 40,000 years ago. There are no towns, no doctors, no pharmacies, and one of your back teeth has begun to throb. At first, it's a dull ache. Then it swells into something sharper, a hot, pulsing pain deep in your jaw, an abscess, an infection pushing against the bone. Today you'd take a pill, you'd see a dentist. The pain would be gone by evening. But you don't live today. You live in a world with none of that. No aspirin, no ibuprofen, no numbing injections. Just you, the cold, and a pain that will not stop. So, what do? For most of human history, this was not hypothetical. This was life. A broken bone, a rotting tooth, a wound gone hot with infection. These things happened constantly, and there was no bottle in a cabinet to make them stop. And yet somehow, our ancestors survived. They endured pain we can barely imagine. And here's the part that will surprise you. They weren't helpless, not even close. Because long before the first chemist, long before the first written word, humans had already discovered medicine. It was growing all around them, in the bark of trees, in the seeds of flowers, in the mold on rotting plants. They just had to find it. And they did. Let's go back to that Neanderthal with the aching tooth, because he was real. In a cave in northern Spain called El Cedrón, scientists uncovered the remains of a young Neanderthal man who lived around 40,000 years ago. His jawbone told a painful story, a dental abscess, the kind that would have made eating, sleeping, even thinking almost unbearable. And his stomach carried a parasite that caused severe illness on top of it. He was, by any measure, a very sick young man. But when researchers examined the hardened plaque on his teeth, the fossilized residue of everything he'd chewed, they found something extraordinary. Traces of poplar. Poplar is a tree. It isn't food. It doesn't taste good, and there's little reason to eat it, unless you know something about it. Because poplar bark contains a natural chemical called salicylic acid, and salicylic acid is an active ingredient in aspirin. Let that settle for a moment. A Neanderthal, tens of thousands of years before the invention of modern medicine, was chewing on the one tree in his forest that happened to contain a painkiller. The same painkiller we swallow today when our heads throb. And it gets stranger. In that same dental plaque, scientists found traces of penicillium, the mold that gives us penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. A natural antibiotic, being used by a Neanderthal more than 40,000 years before humans would formally discover it. This wasn't luck, this was knowledge. Somehow, this sick young man, or someone caring for him, knew that these specific things, from a forest full of thousands of plants, could ease his suffering. The old picture of cavemen as dumb, grunting brutes? The evidence in his teeth says otherwise. Our ancient relatives understood their world in ways we're only beginning to appreciate. So how did they know? To understand that, we need to talk about the most important medicine in human history, a plant so powerful and so widely used that it connects nearly every ancient civilization on Earth, the willow tree. If you strip the bark from a willow and chew it, or boil it into bitter tea, something remarkable happens. Your pain fades, your fever drops, your swelling eases. The reason is the same chemical found in that Neanderthal's poplar, salicin, which your body converts into salicylic acid. Nature's aspirin, hidden inside a common tree growing by rivers and streams across the world. And here's what's astonishing. Cultures that never met, who lived thousands of miles and thousands of years apart, all discovered willow independently. The ancient Sumerians recorded it on clay tablets almost 4,000 years ago. The ancient Egyptians wrote it into their medical papyri, prescribing willow for inflammation, for wounds, for toothaches. The Greek physician Hippocrates recommended willow leaf tea to ease the pain of childbirth. In North America, tribes including the Cherokee and the Iroquois had been stripping willow bark with stone knives and brewing it for pain and fever for at least 10,000 years. Think about that. On opposite sides of the planet, with no contact between them, humans looked at the same humble tree and unlocked the same secret. That's not coincidence. That's the result of countless generations paying close, patient attention to the natural world and remembering what worked. In fact, willow bark may be the oldest medicine humans have ever used that is still in active use today. From a bitter bark chewed beside a prehistoric fire to the white pill in your bathroom cabinet, it's the same chemical, the same relief, an unbroken line stretching back through the entire human story. But Willow was only the beginning. Our ancestors had an entire pharmacy hidden in the landscape, and some of those plants had been almost forgotten. Take henbane, a strange, foul-smelling plant and a powerful pain reliever. Archaeologists in the Netherlands once found a container made from a hollowed-out animal bone, sealed with birch bark, stuffed full of black henbane seeds, clearly stored on purpose, clearly valued. Henbane could dull pain and send the mind drifting, which made it both medicine and something far more dangerous in the wrong dose. Take yarrow, a modest little flower with feathery leaves, and one of the oldest medicines we know of. Traces of yarrow have been found in archaeological sites more than 60,000 years old. Warriors carried crushed, dried yarrows into battle to pack into wounds because it helped stop bleeding and prevent infection. Its very name is tangled up in the ancient Greek legend of Achilles, the warrior said to have used it to treat his soldiers. And take the opium poppy, perhaps the most powerful of all. The ancient Sumerians called it hul-gil, the joy plant, and cultivated it more than 5,000 years ago for its euphoria and its ability to numb pain. From that single flower came a family of medicines we still rely on in our strongest hospitals today, including morphine. The same poppy that eased a Sumerian's agony still eases pain in operating rooms right now. So we're left with the real question. How did they figure all this out? There were no labs, no microscopes, no way to isolate a chemical or run a test. The answer is both simple and humble. They watched, they experimented, they remembered. Imagine thousands of years of trial and error. Someone in pain chews a bark and feels relief, and tells another. Someone eats the wrong plant and dies, and everyone learns to avoid it. Maybe they watched sick animals seek out plants and follow their lead. Slowly, painfully, one lesson at a time, this knowledge was gathered and passed down, parent to child, healer to apprentice, generation to generation, across thousands of years. It was science, not written in journals, but in memory, in story, in tradition. Every remedy was paid for by someone's suffering and preserved because it worked. So, the next time you reach for a painkiller and the ache melts away in 20 minutes, pause for just a second. That little pill did not begin in a factory. It began in a forest. It began with a sick Neanderthal chewing poplar in a Spanish cave, with a Sumerian pressing seeds from a poppy, with 10,000 years of people stripping willow bark beside a river, searching for relief. We didn't invent these medicines, we inherited them. Modern science didn't create the cure for pain, it rediscovered what our ancestors already knew and refined it into the pill in your hand. Ancient humans survived pain without painkillers, because in a way, they had them all along. They just had to listen to the world around them. And they did.